Last night, two people went to bed. One of them slept 6 hours, the other slept 9. But this morning, the one who slept 6 hours woke up refreshed, and the one who slept 9 woke up exhausted, like the night didn't really do anything. If you've ever struggled with weight, you might recognize that second person, because when body weight gets high enough, sleep itself can start breaking down. Snoring gets louder. What most people don't realize is that snoring is often not just noise. It can be a warning sign that your body is struggling to breathe. And when that starts happening, you can spend the entire night in bed without your body ever truly resting. The strange part is that most people living through this have no idea it's happening to them. I only understood what was happening years later when I learned about something called sleep apnea. When someone with sleep apnea falls asleep, the night doesn't stay quiet for very long. Sleep apnea is a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during the night. And the biggest risk factor for it is obesity. When body weight gets so high that fat doesn't just accumulate in places you can see, it can also build up around the neck and throat. Which means that once the body relaxes during sleep, the airway becomes narrower and air starts struggling to pass through, creating a vibration inside a tight airway that we recognize as snoring. But sometimes the airway narrows so much that breathing actually stops for a few seconds. Oxygen levels begin to drop, and the brain immediately reacts by pulling the body out of deep sleep just enough to restart breathing. Not enough for you to remember waking up, but enough to interrupt the restorative part of sleep. Then you drift back to sleep and the cycle repeats dozens of times during a single night, sometimes even more. And most people never remember any of those moments, even though their body definitely does. I know this because I lived it. When I was around 300 pounds, I could sleep 10 hours and still wake up feeling completely exhausted. And that was also the only period in my life when I snored really. It was so loud that people close to me couldn't sleep. We literally had to buy earplugs so they could get through the night. At the time, I had no idea what was actually happening during the night, or that it had anything to do with my weight. It turns out men with obesity can be up to 10 times more likely to develop sleep apnea, which means millions of people go to bed every night thinking they're getting rest, while their body spends the entire night repeatedly struggling to breathe. And this is where things get even more frustrating, because poor sleep doesn't just make you tired the next day, it also starts affecting the systems that control hunger, energy, and fat storage. When sleep keeps getting interrupted during the night, the body begins to shift the balance of certain hormones, increasing ghrelin, which signals hunger, and lowering leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you've had enough food. In simple terms, your body wakes up wanting to eat more. At the same time, energy levels drop, fatigue builds up, and cravings for quick energy foods like sugar and processed carbs become much stronger. So the person wakes up tired, hungrier than usual, with less energy to move, train, or even make better food choices. So the whole situation snowballs, making it even easier to gain more and more fat. The body gets trapped in a loop. Bad sleep makes weight loss harder, and extra weight keeps damaging sleep. Many people stuck in that cycle don't even realize something is wrong, when in reality their body has been fighting this invisible battle every single night. In my case, the difference became obvious once my weight finally started coming down. Before that, sleep never really felt like rest. I could stay in bed for 10 hours and still wake up feeling drained, like my body had been working the entire night instead of recovering. Today, my smartwatch tracks my sleep, and the contrast is honestly ridiculous. My sleep score now usually sits around 97, sometimes even 100. Back then, I could barely hit 55. That difference isn't just a number on a screen. It's waking up with real energy, breathing normally through the night, and not feeling exhausted in the morning like I hadn't slept. When excess weight starts coming down, sleep is one of the first things that improves. Sleep apnea usually shows up when someone is carrying a large amount of body fat, often when people are approaching or already in the range of severe obesity. And that's exactly the group of people I originally built my free guide called 7 Steps that got me out of obesity. Not just anyone trying to lose 5 pounds for the summer, but people who have a real tendency to gain weight, the kind of body that resists fat loss every step of the way. Inside the guide, I break down the structure that helped me finally start getting control of my weight after years of failed diets, extreme routines, and strategies that simply weren't sustainable. But at the same time, a lot of people watching this might not even know if they actually have that kind of body type. So inside the guide, I also show a very simple trick that helps you figure out your body type in seconds, which can help you understand why certain approaches seem to work for everyone else but never work for you. It's completely free, so just grab it using the link in the description. So if you ever find yourself sleeping 8, 9, even 10 hours and still waking up exhausted, it might not be laziness. And it might not be that you just need more sleep. Sometimes it's simply a body carrying more weight than it was designed to handle. When that happens, the night stops being a time of recovery and slowly turns into a struggle your body has to fight through while you're asleep. And the difficult part is that most people living through this never realize something is wrong. I didn't realize it either. I only understood what had been happening once my weight started coming down. The snoring disappeared. I finally started waking up, rested, and my smartwatch began showing sleep scores in the high 90s. That's when it became obvious that the problem had never been how long I was sleeping. The body is constantly sending signals when something isn't right. The problem is that sometimes we spend years learning to ignore them.